This is Nickelback.
Oh yeah.
This is The Long Road. So this, here, let me show everybody. Looking at, looking at that. So this was presented to probably me. Yep. This record did well, not as well as Silver Side Up. So The Long Road was, as I say, the second record that we made with Roadrunner. 2003. Holy fuck. God damn, time flies. What year is it? So that's 23 years ago. Good Lord. Um, and I have sort of mixed feelings about this record, or to put it another way, mixed emotions about this record. Funny enough, for a record that sold at least 2 million copies in the US, it was kind of viewed as a failure just because compared to Silver Side Up. And I don't know what the global sales were on that, but I'm going to guess maybe if it was 2 million in the States, probably did at least 2 million everywhere else. I'm going to guess it was probably a 4 million sale as opposed to Silver Side Up, which I think was about 8 or 9 million. Um, and so how strange to be in a situation where you sell 4 million records and people are saying it's a failure. But there was more to it than that. There was also, that was kind of when the shitty Nickelback, hating stuff started. And I remember that somebody posted a video with How You Remind Me and Someday next to each other. And they were trying to imply that Chad had ripped himself off, like it was just a rehashed version of How You Remind Me, which, I mean, A, isn't true, and B, was just kind of a shitty thing to do. But that was the first time I remember there being some public shittiness towards the band. Plus, that first album, especially How You Remind Me, had so much radio play, so much. And I think, there was natural backlash. I mean, I believe How You Remind Me is the most performed song on US radio of the 2000s. Like that song had an outrageous amount of radio play, which on the one hand, of course, is great. On the other hand, some people got sick of it. And so that's why, again, mixed feelings on this record. I mean, I love the record. I just mean mixed feelings because it evokes some memories for me of people starting to be shitty towards the band. And if you don't like Nickelback, fuck, I don't care. Why would I care? But it was the personal nature of some of the attacks that was the part that was hard to stomach. And we talk about that a lot in the documentary that they put out, Hate to Love, which you can get on Netflix for those of you who have Netflix. And it's painful because, like, again, if you like the music, don't like the music, whatever, I couldn't care less. But they're such nice people. Like the Nickelback team, not just the band, the management, the crew. Most of them have been there for a long time. Nickelback's rare in a lot of different ways. I mean, number one, do you have any idea how hard it is to sustain that kind of popularity for 30 fucking years? It's almost unheard of. Um, it's almost unheard of. So that's number one. But number two, they have kept the same team of people around them for almost that entire time. I've been there for 32 years. In this business, they have like dog years. Like if you like in 32 years in the music business, it's like 10,000 years in the normal, like in a human life. Like it just doesn't happen. And I'm not the only one. Their current manager is a guy named Chief Kevin. Um, he's been there almost as long as I have. Now he left for a while, but Ralph James, their agent, I think he's second. Like of all the current team members, I've been there the longest, 32 years. I think Ralph's been there for like 29. So I mean, he's been there, and Chief's been there for around that amount of time too. So very, very, very rare. My point in saying all this is it hurts when people were shitty about it. And again, not about their music. I don't care about somebody criticizing music. But when people start to attack personally, yeah, the guy's a douchebag. What are you talking about? You don't even know him. Like, well, fuck off. So I get very defensive about it, not just because um, I do business with them. In fact, that's got very little to do with it. I get defensive about it because they're wonderful human beings. So yeah, it's funny. This record's funny to me. Like it's one of those records that, like I say, I have mixed emotions about.
The radio play might have been really the big driver of the why the hate started. In terms of, you said some people got sick of it. Do you think that was driving people to be?
Lots of theories about it. I don't think that helped. I think the fact that you could barely turn on the radio without hearing them definitely pissed some people off. But I think there was other things too. I mean, I've said before, like I people like their rock stars in pain. People like their rock stars to be tormented. People like their rock stars overdosing and then making a comeback. Um, and Nickelback aren't those guys. They're not the guys who are going to overdose and die. They're not the guys who are going to beat up their wives. They're very normal, down to earth guys. And, you see Chad getting interviewed, on Much Music or, something like that. He looks happy as a pig in shit. There's a reason for that. He's happy as a pig in shit. He likes being a rock star and he's unapologetic about it. And I think people sometimes mistook that for him being pompous which he really isn't at all. I mean, that's one thing about these guys, which, you meet this band and people are always shocked. Wow, they're so nice. Like, I don't know what you were expecting. What'd you think they were going to be? But, you know, they'll ask people about them. They're not just so self-obsessed, and people are always like, oh, wow, they're really nice, people. And, yeah, so I mean, it's I don't know.
Could it have been something building, and this just felt like an opportunity for people of like they've had a moment here where they're not on a rise the way they were, and it's this thing that's been annoying a certain amount of people or whatever. It now feels like an opportunity for them, and it's a bit of a momentum.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's human nature, right? Kick them when they're down.
Yeah, basically.
And we weren't even really down, but like, it
Down
was,
for where it was.
yeah. And
before.
yes, I think that might have played into it to some degree. It's like people, listen, I'm the first person to say, and I've said it more than once, I'm not the biggest fan of humanity. I'm not the biggest fan of human nature. And I think there is a part of human nature that loves cruelty and loves kicking people when they're down. Sucks, but it just is what it is. And so, yes, it felt a little bit like that. I mean, on that first album, on Silver Side Up, like I can remember walking around downtown with Chad. It's like, Chad, we love you. People rolling down their car windows. Chad, can I have a hug? Chad, can I have a picture? And to his credit, he is very generous with his fans, like way more than I would be. Um, but then on the second album, and again, this is one of the reasons why, like, boy, did things change. And then we're walking down the street and it's like, fuck you. Nickelback sucks. And it's like, whoa, like, what the fuck?
Surprisingly, it happened that much in person. It always felt like a very, like the
no,
internet
it
and
happened
stuff.
in person.
Right.
Still does sometimes, I think, once in a while.
Wow. Okay.
People are really, I would never underestimate people's ability to be shitty.
Crazy that it would have. It felt like an online thing of like people kind of throw away opinions or whatever. But I don't know how it could be that deep for some people.
Well, it was mostly an online thing. And if you went to one of their shows during that period, you would have no idea. Like, they're still selling out stadiums and people love them.
So they've obviously had a bit of a resurgence recently in terms of that seems
I
to
think
fit.
the documentary had a lot to do with it. It feels like it to me. And it's great. I mean, people seem to have really re-embraced the band. And I'm so happy. I can't even, I mean, I'm just very happy about it. And, this new record's great. The single in Canada, I think, is number 3 this week, or maybe number 4. Bones for the Crows, go check it out. And yeah, I mean, I'm thrilled that the public seems to have really come around to this band again.
Do you think?
Although they never really left.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the 11th biggest selling musical act in history. So for all the hate, they were still selling tons of records, like as this plaque proves,
Coming back to a couple of things. One, you mentioned on another episode, the nostalgia around bands of this type from that era kind of has
Right
become big
now, it's
again.
wild.
Do you think that there's a combination of them riding that wave plus the drop in radio push over the years and that kind of fading a bit? Obviously, it's still there, but there's less of it. It's less in your face. Do you think those two things combine to really, people who hated them have way less of a reason to hate them? People who love them, it's more of a nostalgia. Like there's extra reason to love them again.
Yeah, that's a
Uh,
good question. And I'm not sure of the answer because I don't, these bands aren't necessarily still getting tons of radio play. And in fact, rock as a format has shrunk. There used to be so many rock stations. Now there's very few. I think it's a lot about the nostalgia thing. I think that usually about 20 years after anything, that's when
the
people
cycle,
start
yeah.
to, and even on something like Call Me Maybe, like after the 10-year anniversary, like when we hit the 10-year anniversary, there's this wild resurgence. And a lot of times it was sync uses because if somebody's making a film about the 2010s, Call Me Maybe. I mean, that's kind of the most sort of representative song of that period of time. And so people are making movies about that period of time. Well, they're going to take songs like that.